And so we have unleashed the host country on the court with the game that just ended between Sweden and Slovakia. And now, my dearest friends, it is time for the third period of our World Floorball Summit of 2024. In the final period, we will hear about the journey on how to become one of the best floorball players in the world. The stage will be entered by the Powerpuff Girls of the floorball playing world, the magical and marvelous Kauppi twins, Veera and Oona. Kauppi. And Veera and Oona will be joined later by Ilkka Halava, who is their mental coach. But ladies, as the tournament's slogan says, the floor is yours.
Thank you. You said it that so beautifully, everything about the girl power and everything. So it's now we can go with the flow, and this is going to be great.
It's a pleasure to be here. Hi, everyone. Maybe we can start by telling who we are.
Yeah.
My name is Veera.
And my name is Oona.
And because we're twins, so everything I say adds to Oona's list. We're 27 years old. We come from Finland, play in Sweden in Thorengruppen. At the moment, it's our 7th year in Sweden. And we started our floorball careers in Kove in Tampere. And as you can see, some photos of us. We are twins, but we don't look that much. We don't not. How do you say it?
We are not lookalikes, and I think it's good.
Yeah.
I want to be Oona, and you can be Veera.
Yeah.
But as Veera said, that we are totally different kind of persons. We have two different kind of personalities, and I'm really active, and I can't stand still. I have to move all the time, and you're a little bit more like
Calm.
Yeah, you can also say it like that. So I think it's really important to tell that even though our paths might feels like, or it like you can think that okay, that they're twins, and it's like really pretty similar background. So our paths have been really different to the top, and it's something that we want to talk today. So we are saying that you don't need a twin to become a good player. What do you think?
Yeah, that's true. But we have a multi-sport background. We've been playing football and floorball and trying all kinds of other sports. And that's maybe one of the reasons we have become as good as we are. When we were playing football, it was always the summertime, and we had our friends there. The physical stuff and training was a bit different from floorball, and I think, or we both think, that it was a good thing for us. And then during the winter time, we were playing floorball, and that combo was working really well for us. But that's also a big thanks for our parents, who were helping us and are still helping with a lot of things outside the rink. At the moment, our dad is our manager, so they are taking care of the things outside the rink.
So this is always teamwork. You can't do this by yourself. You need someone to be there, and this network around you has to be good and supporting. We have always have each other. It has also helped us to become so good at floorball, and yeah, I think this is really important part of our journey, this multi-sport background, because we started to play in the boys team when we were 7, but we have started to play floorball when we were what we say?
2 weeks old.
Yeah, we got our
first sticks in
Yes.
Christen gift. So that's the background.
So we have been hitting each other
and eating the stick.
Yeah.
Not that much playing when we were a couple of weeks old. But that's when our journey started. And that's actually these photos. You can see the one with the yellow hats, or how do you say? That's from our football career, maybe the highlight. We were playing in Ilves from Tampere, and we won silver medals in the highest league. And that was a really great memory. And even though that there's 2 pictures with success, we're also going to talk about the tough times we've had, because without those situations and experiences, we wouldn't be here. And our football careers...
What is happening?
I'm always saying that I didn't quit football. I was injured and took a longer pause. And I don't know if I'm continuing playing. But it was actually 4 years ago in Umeå that I was playing a bit football too during the summertime. So those 2 sports are really close to our hearts.
Yeah. I don't know if that is start trying to say to you that.
Please be quiet.
Yes. Oh,
it was your fault.
It was my bad.
Do you have something to add, or should we?
I think we can continue to the next. Or are you going to? You can. Our key points today. Do you want to join? Please go on. It's going so well that you're thinking that we. Here we were. I mean, we could talk about a lot of things today, but we wanted to pick some of the things that we think was or are the most important things for us and our journey. And we start with the. I don't know if I'm allowed to say like this, but I would say this is maybe the most important thing for us, that knowing and understanding yourself and who you are as a person, as a floorball player, as what is motivating you, this now I can't speak, but how you think, how you feel, it's really important, because then you understand how you behave and what you are doing in the ring, and that's going to help you in the floorball, but also in life and as a twins. So I think we have learned this pretty early on, because our parents were saying all the time that you are 2 different people. That try to remember that you are not. You don't have to think all the time the same thing or do the same things. So I think this is something that we have been practicing this a lot, and still learning. We are not going to be done with this anytime soon. So this is something that we want to highlight.
And you can see those other points, mindset, mental skills. We're going to talk about that, because that's a really important thing when you're an athlete. It's as important that it's working here, like in your body. Your most important tools are your body and your mental skills. And supporting network, it could be your friends, parents, coaches, whoever is important to you in your career. So then we're going to talk about difficult times, and something that we've been trying to, how do you say, that we try to think that we are never ready as athletes, as persons. So it's a continuous learning journey for us. We want to know why we're doing things. We want to ask our coaches, maybe question them sometimes. And the last one, the big picture, like that it's important to see and have perspective in things. But maybe we could Welcome you, Ilkka.
And this is also my moment to interrupt you. Sorry for that, but it's been a long and a tiring day for our wireless microphones, and our batteries are dead, so we have to share this one microphone between three of you guys.
Okay.
All right. Okay. There you go.
Okay, then.
And,
Well, yeah.
We're
So
gonna
we-
make that work.
Yeah, we
We're twins,
yeah.
so we're
Teamwork.
Yeah.
we're used to sharing things.
Now, can I start with the question that how many times you actually, one of us starts a sentence and the other one finalizes that?
It's
Many
many times.
Many times. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not something from Donald Duck only. It happens in real life. But I had to get the answer to this one. Now, first time when we met a year ago, approximately, I was wondering that how is it possible for 27-year-old players have that strong mental skills base? I have met several leaders and managers, directors, who tend to kind of break up, and then I felt that okay, you are really different in some sense. Is it a question of you having a background where a lot of things have been happening, so you have been able to learn faster with the mental side? Does it have to do with difficulties or challenges? What would be the reason for that? Would you know that by yourselves?
I would say that the most important thing has been that especially our dad has always been talking about these personalities. When you understand how you and your others are like working as persons, it's easier to understand why they're doing what they're doing in different situations. Like, I know that Oona has quite a spicy or can have quite hard comments, like in matches, in games, but I know that it's her way to react to things. Then I can understand it's okay. I just need to let it pass by. So I think from quite a young age, we've been very aware of those kind of things. And I think that's helped us to start to like grow and build a certain kind of base with our mental skills.
And I would like to add that our parents has taught us to ask why and try to think why we are doing something. It doesn't have to be something really dramatic or something really difficulties or something like that. I think it's you want to understand what is happening and why it's happening, and that's something that we have tried to learn and still learning, and it's something that we want to think that there is no limits, that why to set limits, because we try to find our best version of ourselves, that we know that we are not going to be perfect, but we are aiming to that, and we know that you can always learn something from there. It doesn't matter if it's training or you're looking some matches or something like that, that you can always find something.
Yeah, I actually heard from your father that you have been using self-assessment tools, and as I have worked with them many years, I understand the logic there. And the first case is that if you know yourself, then you know why you are doing things, and then you can understand other people's motives and approaches to things. Now, floorball is a game where actually there should be at least 5 people in the same team thinking alike, kind of understanding each other's mindset. So when I have been looking at your games, and several of them, it seems that you have one mind in so many ways. So it's a kind of it's a question of synchronizing. So you seem to be synchronized every single time you go to the rink. But does that spread to the whole team, to your line? Would there be like 5 people? Is it contagious, or do you have to work for that?
Yeah, you have to always work, but it's something that we think is important, and we want to focus on when we are playing. So we like to think that it's like go with the flow, and we don't want to talk so much about tactical things before, or we just try to play and go with the feeling, and then if it's not working, then we are trying to find the ways. But I think the thing there is that we are communicating all the time in the bench, in the practice. We want to, or I usually like if we do something good, I'm just saying that okay, this we did that really good, and then maybe Veera is saying something else, then I learn. Okay, she was thinking like this in that situation. That it's even though we want to say that we had this twin connection, so I think that's a little bit fake news that we have been practicing so much that we know each other so well, and it's something that you can practice and be better. But it requires really hard work, but I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think the communication is the key, because we have 27 years plus 9 months experience of each other, so it's of course requiring work, and like in our club team, Thorengruppen, we're playing with players who are as eager to learn as we are, and we're quite open, or our ways of communicating is quite straight, even though Finnish straight is different from Swedish straight. So that might be the key in that, but I know that we have this magical twin connection because we've been playing with each other so long, and we know exactly what the other one is thinking and doing in the next situation in a game. So yeah.
So you mentioned that you are keen on understanding why you are doing things. Well, if I think of the coaches, have you been the kind of easy players to be coached, or are the coaches like are the yeah, Andros is smiling there, but are you like easy to be coached, or are you true challenges for example an unexperienced coach? How would you describe yourselves?
Pain in the ass. And but I like to think that I want to say I want to be open. I want to say what I'm thinking. Maybe sometimes, as Veera said it, that I'm this Finnish style is really like you say what you're thinking, but then in the other way it doesn't have to be something negative. I think you have to always say if you are doing something good, that you have to say it out loud, because we forget that a little too many times, that we are only focusing the things we have to do better. But so I think we have had some difficulties with the coaches because we have been asking so much questions, hard questions. But I would like to think that we are not. We always try to find the ways to understand each other. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say it's a mix of both, like pain in the ass, but also like because our mentality is so strong and we want to get better. I think that's a great quality for a player that we want to develop. So we're like ready to do anything. So I think coaches also like appreciate that. But then I know that it might be hard sometimes when we're asking those questions, or when it gets when there's tougher times, maybe you're not that happy all the time because you just want it so much. So there's of course some challenges, but the most important thing is always that in the background we just want to get better and we want the team to win. So that's like the key thing in the background.
So it sounds that sounds like you're creating a kind of a challenging learning environment for your coaches. And Andreas, do we like nod here? Is it a yes or is it no? Okay. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Because I feel that when we have been speaking about this, I feel that the reason why you're asking why questions is that you want to have a target for everything. So if you don't know why you're doing it, then you are doing something without the target. And I think that's a really big message for young players, especially if you're thinking about how to create an approach. Then if you have like small targets and bigger targets and the big targets, it would make sense, right? Yeah. The one thing that I'm really curious about is understanding that when you are since pretty young players, you have been the best of your team. You have been the best players, and your stats are unbelievable. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's just like in Svenska Superligan, your average points are 2.1 and yours 3.4 per play, which is, I mean, you know, if you can imagine what those figures look like, that's kind of unbelievable, because it means that you are actually performing unreasonably long time on a level that nobody can kind of reach that. I mean, if you're a human, then you know, if we go to robot side, then it just might be different. But that's something that is really hard to understand. So my question would be that when you know that you're best already, when you are really super good, then how do you place your targets? How do you set your goals? When, you know, the old Zen saying that way, if you're climbing a mountain, when you reach the top, then just keep on climbing. It means that basically you have to simply fog. You don't know where to go, but you just keeping on that climbing. So how do you set the goals when you don't have any person to reach or catch?
I can start from my point of view, because I'm a perfectionist. I think that there's always room for like improvement, and that's one reason why I've become as good as I am, but also a reason why I've been struggling with my mental game when I was younger, and because I set the bar so high that I was disappointed after every game. I could score like 5 goals, we win, but I've lost the ball one time and the opponent scored. But that's one thing why I can always find something to get better on. So there's always things I want to get better at, and that's the reason I think this continuous learning journey, it's definitely something I'm thinking as an athlete, but also as a person. So I would say it's quite easy, because I always try to think also like, maybe not women's floorball. I could watch like football, men's football. There was no one playing as a professional. No women players playing professional in floorball, and we've become the first ones, I guess. So that's also something that you just need to look a bit higher. When the mountain ends, you just need to see even higher. And I think that's something we've been good at. Like, I think you said something about that. You need to just reach higher. And I think my personality has helped me to do that. It comes naturally.
Yeah, and I think for me it's the desire to understand more of the game, because if you think floorball, so there is so many things you can focus on, and for me, I try to, if we are training in the trainings, I try to set some targets for only for me that I'm thinking in my head, and because I think that's helping me to focus on the right things and develop in the same time. And I think for me, because we are different, you have always wanted to be the best player in the world, and I have always been thinking that I just want to help my team, and my way of helping team has been goal scoring. But for me as a person, I'm really curious to understand what is happening around me, and I want to get to know me better as a person, and that's my learning like story, and I want to keep writing that story, and that's motivating me, and I feel like I want to read that book more and more all the time, and I think it's also important to think in floorball that it's not only to we won this one game, because there's always going to be another game, and it doesn't matter how you performed in the last week's game. It's a new game in the next week, and you have to focus on that. So I think that has like never been a problem for us to try to find the motivation to be better.
And then the question people always ask us is, you're winning like titles in SSL, don't you get tired of that? And then my answer to that is like, if you're celebrating your birthday this year, don't you want to celebrate it next year? It's just awesome every year. So I think that's maybe because people don't see the big picture, the 1 year's work, the hundreds trainings, intervals, gym sessions, matches. So yeah, it's the big picture is quite different from what others see from the outside. Our world is quite different from that. So yeah.
And I have to now admit one thing. When we started, then I was curious to kind of understand what the mental models would be that you have, and what kind of mental models would be needed. But then I realized later on that it's for me as a coach and a mental coach, it's absolutely adorable to work with you, because you have targets, you have goals, you are going forward in a country that is pretty much lost or like flowing here and there without any kind of targets. So I felt that when there is a strong understanding and a wanting to win, then that's something that kind of glows around and inspires also people that are not playing floorball or not playing in your teams or are not your fans, but they still understand that this is a huge thing. So going back to the early years still, you started to play with boys team when you were 4, 6, 7, and so it's like that's like 20 years ago, more or less. But especially when you were 13, 14, I have heard that in Tampere area where you played, there are lots of male players that have been playing with you that entered the game like, okay, there are the two girls, this is going to be easy, and then you really showed them what floorball is about, and there's a huge amount of male players that have this Kauppi trauma because you gave them a lesson that is not easily forgotten. So when you went to play with the boys, how was that? I mean, I felt that that I need to ask the question: that is it part of your training idea to play with boys to get kind of tougher, or were there anything special that you wanted to learn there, or was it simply because there was not enough team players for a girls' team when you were young? Which one would it be?
I think it was that there was girls' teams, but I don't know. I think our parents know the answer better than we, but I think it was that we wanted to have this environment that is good enough for us, and it's still the same for us nowadays, that we want to always think where it doesn't have to be in Sweden, it can be in Finland, Switzerland, it doesn't matter, but the environment has to be good enough for us, because we want that everything is working well, then that we can reach to our targets and goals that we are setting to ourselves. And I think it was the case there also, and it just felt natural to play with the boys and the boys team that we were playing. So everybody was thinking that we are part of the team. It doesn't matter that we are girls, we can play. So that was the only thing that matters for them, and I think we showed them that we can play. So they were like happy that we were playing in the same team as them, and for us it was so natural that we played there. I mean, it wasn't really nice to hear those comments before the game, but like some of the boys were like, "Oh, this is going to be easy win." Because you got a little bit extra motivation to show that girls can also, and girls can better sometimes. And I think our journey starts there, that we understood that we can decide how our paths are going to, or which right direction it's going to go, and try to do the thing that works for us. And
our thing has always been like, don't do it like others do, because that might not work for us. Like we were talking about the personalities. Something that works for Oona doesn't work for me. That's why our paths has been a bit different. And about that playing in the boys team, I don't think that until a certain age, I don't think there should be like boys and girls teams. If you're just like good enough and you think that it's a good thing for you, so go for it. We can take a question, or
yeah, that's the question, because I see that the game understanding is probably the most important thing about you. Have you ever thought about going back and playing with the senior boys or men again?
We have. Yeah, I was going to. Yeah, thanks. We have not been thinking about playing with men or boys, not at the moment. But one thing we're doing with our club team is that we, when we have playing trainings, we're playing 5 against 5. We take in guys, not boys. We take in guys. We're playing the, some divisions. So because that's just how good we are at the moment. So that's a great thing and a good example that you don't need to look at sex all the time. So that's also one thing we're doing at the moment in our club team, to show that it's possible to for women and men to play together. But yeah, I think we answered your question and your question too.
So when we think of the years after COVID, we have seen in Finland in several junior series that there are now teams consisting of girls and boys. So I take it that you would recommend that to stay, not being a kind of a part-time solution, but it could continue like that. I have seen those games, and I have to say that I'm really impressed, and I also have the same question, like, why should we not do this? Because it looks good, feels good. If you have a mental problem when entering the game, then you won't have one when you get back. So I think it would make sense. Now, thinking about getting professional, was that a big jump? How, let's say, what kind of process led you to the idea that yes, we could do this, be the first professionals in floorball?
Or you can start if you want to.
No, I just, sorry, I need to tell this example because when I was, how many years old? 4, 5, 6 maybe? Our grandma asked me something about what I'm going to be when I get big. I answered, I'm gonna play football. And she answered, no, but what is going to be your job? And I said, I'm going to be a professional football player. And I think that's describing quite well my mindset from when I was this big. I wanted to become an athlete. At that time, my idols were often male players in football. Floorball wasn't that big 20 years ago, but it's been growing. And as the time went by, and maybe when we got a bit older, a bit better, you started to think about that maybe there's possibilities. And in some way, it has always been clear for us that we want, we are always reaching forward, like contract-wise and in the environment and so on. So the leap from Finland to Sweden, that was quite a big thing for us. It was 7 years ago, first time moving away from our parents. We did it together, so that was a good thing for us that we had each other. But so yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just we were always thinking that it's going to happen. The question was when it's going to happen, and we were also thinking a little bit like that bigger picture that we want to show to, especially to the young girls, that this is possible. And because when we were younger, so there was kind of many people who were saying that that's not possible, and here we are, and we're playing as a professional floorball players. So I think it's we were just so sure that it's going to happen, but I don't know what was behind it that we were so sure that you were like 5 years old and you already knew. But it was just the mindset for us that we are going to reach that goal, and yeah, here we are.
Amazing. I mean, just imagine 5-year-old Veera saying that. Yeah, I know my job. I know my future. I mean, as a futurist, I'm really envious of that. But anyway, thinking about Thorengruppen now, and you being professionals, the other players there are not professionals, right? So it creates definitely some kind of a scheduling problem at least, or let's say challenge. So if I understand correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but then many players are actually doing their daily job somewhere else, and they are actually having the training sessions then later on in the evening. So you have a kind of a, let's say, different kind of a schedule, right? So how does that system work? Is it does it mean leisure time for you, or do you have like more time to go to the gym or to running, or how do you kind of adapt to the situation?
Well, for us, floorball has maybe not always. I know mom and dad are watching, so I have to say that school was always the priority number one, and then was the floorball and football, and I think that was good. And right now it's like floorball is the number one, but then comes we are both studying, but we are trying to always look our schedules so that the floorball trainings and the physical trainings and also when we're resting, that it's always the floorball first and then comes everything else. And I think we have found a really good balance in our lives, and we know that there is not many players who has this kind of opportunity to really put the floorball first. So we try to think that we have to use this opportunity well, and I think it's working really well. But for us, it's also important that there is something else in life than floorball, because otherwise I would be sitting home and thinking all the bad shifts that I have had. So I think it's really, really important. And yeah, do you have something to add?
Yeah, it's of course like when you talk about professional sports, you would train during the mornings, during the days, and then the evenings are free. But we're like working the other way around because we are not a professional sport, and it's something that we have never thought about that in that way, because it has always been quite obvious that it's going to be that way. But maybe someday in the future, but it's not a problem for us because we have time to train during the day, and we might do 2 sessions like floorball in the evenings with the team, and then gym or something else in the morning. And I had something on my mind, but now I forgot. So we can maybe move on.
Yeah, it comes back to your mind. But since your parents are watching, then may I ask the question? The way you are placing targets and goals in floorball, has that also affected your way of studying? Is it like like exams 3.0 and the first one, you know, or how do you actually study then?
Well, now we can show that we are totally different, even though we are twins, because you want always everything has to be perfect, and I'm a little bit more, or for me it's also really important, but not that. I'm not like you, and I try to good balance, and I don't know how to put it say this, but I try to think that in floorball I want to be as good as possible, and then in the other things that I try to, I know my limits, and I know that if I would have the same mindset to everything else, I know that it's not going to work. So for me, it's working that I'm focusing on floorball 100%, and then right now I'm studying, but not maybe 100%. But I have to add that I'm also doing that good, but you are next level.
Yeah, I think you have always been good at school, and me too, and that's maybe one. Because who we are, but also because our parents have been pushing us. No training if you don't do your homework. So that was a really effective way. It worked with us. And the thing Oona is saying, yes, in everything in life, I want to do as good as possible. And sometimes it's taking a lot of energy, but I think I always make it work in some way, and it works works for me. And hopefully I'm graduating next year. So we will see.
Impressive. Yeah. Alongside that, people have hobbies, like Oona and Veera. Now, thinking about mental coaching, the mental skills, you have both mentioned several times that it's a focus area. But how would you, or let's say, what would you like to say to the IFF countries? There are 77 countries, people from all over the world, maybe not having that long history in floorball. How would you describe the role of mental coaching or mental skills in terms of, since we know tactics, we know the playing skills, we know all the other areas, but mental skills or mental coaching might be somewhat new or not that common in every country. How would you describe or help people to understand what that might be?
We have had the privilege in the national team to have mental coaches during the latest years, and only from that experience I can say that it's really important, because as I said earlier, if you don't have your mind with you, it's not going to work. Like in the big picture, it's impossible, I would say, because the pressure and like how you need to handle your nerves and everything, it's taking a lot of energy. So you need to have tools to cope with that. And there I think mental coaching and coaches are really important, and they have a really big role. And I don't think there's enough talking about how important it is actually. So that's how I feel. I know you feel the same. But there's like really many potential, really talented young players who don't make it, maybe because of their mental game. And I am not sitting here with an answer to that, but I just know that it's better if you try to start that journey a bit earlier. Like when you're playing in your junior years, you need to start to work with your mental game. And if it's possible, it would be great to have a mental coach even then, but we didn't have that. It's during our adult years, but that's how I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I think I agree what you said about that. I think that's something that we forget a little too often, that we are training floorball because we want to be better. We are training physical things because we want to be better as athletes. But then we are forgetting that what is that word? Now I'm thinking only Swedish. This big part of the game and what is happening inside your head. And you can also train that. And it's something that we are focusing on right now, and it's, I think, kind of often you hear that, oh, you're so mentally so strong, that it's something that you have, and you can train, you can be better, and it's just you have to. It's not easy journey, because you have to admit yourself that you are not perfect, and you have to talk about things that it's really hard to speak about, and you really have to you have to like be open about it, and I think it's something that you don't see so often if you are looking like these international games, but it's every player who is there playing, it's huge amount of pressure and the feelings and everything what you're thinking. It's going to affect the game and your game, but you can try to control it, and you can try to have the control, and I think that's amazing. I think that's the great part of the game, because everybody can do it in the trainings, but who can be the best when it's like finals or something? That it's there you are going to see who is mentally strong.
And it's easy to be good at mental skills when everything's going well. But I think the most players lose it when there comes some difficult times. And we've had really many tough times with injuries, like we tore our ACLs as we're twins, 6 months apart, operated the knees on the same day, Friday 13th. But it has went well. So I think that's also one thing why we are as strong as we are today, because we tore our ACLs, did a rehab really well, came back stronger. My first World's Best Player award came after my first year back on the court. So that was really amazing feeling. But those difficult times with when you're like struggling with your motivation, when there's like injuries and maybe stress from your work or studying life, it's then when you need to be strong up here. You can have different kind of tools to cope during those times and through those times, but that's one thing we want to say, and one key point, that difficult times, that they are like in sports, it's unfortunately really how do you say, it happens to most of the players. There's gonna be struggles. You're not gonna win every game. So that's something you need to be prepared for, and you need to have tools to handle those situations.
Now, I think many Finnish watchers in the audience are keen to know about last night. So that was the moment when you were invited to the presidential independence celebration, and I guess you were the first floorball players, female floorball players. Finally, eventually somebody woke up there in the presidential organization, but to us that was a very emotional moment when we saw that you are the first ones also there. You have been the trailblazers so far, and now you are again there, the first ones to be invited by the president of Finland. So please let us know some feelings, some ideas of how it went last night.
I said to Veera before we were shaking hands with the president that I can't remember the last time I was so nervous, and then it was good that I had those mental skills and tools to handle the situation, because our friends has said that it went really well. For me, it felt like I wasn't breathing in like 10 minutes, and yeah, I mean, when we got the invites, I was thinking first like, oh, this is some kind of joke, and this is not the real. And for me, it was really big thing, because I'm thinking it's not just us, it's the whole sport, it's the female athletes that we try to inspire the younger people, or it doesn't have to be younger people, just people to dream big. And it's something that we have been sitting in our home sofa, and we have watched those Independence Days before, and thinking like, wow, those people have done something incredible, and now we were there. So for me, it's like that bigger picture that we are trying to show the people that it's possible, even though it may look in the beginning that no, this is not going to go through. So so it was a really nice experience.
Yeah, it was really amazing, and I agree with you in that we want to inspire people, and that's why we have started our own company, Kauppi Twins, and our motto is equal opportunities. We want to show especially young girl players and young girls that anything is possible. So it's even a greater feeling to understand that this was one of those things where we were the first ones. And it might be hard sometimes to understand it from our point of view, but we really want to do something more than just be floorball players. And we have like our own summer camps and trainings, and we're actually going to have a summer camp next summer with Eerikkilä, in Eerikkilä. So that's going to be really amazing to start cooperation with them. But I think that was the greatest thing we got from yesterday. And of course it was great to meet the president and all the other famous persons. We were taking a couple of pictures with some artists and so on, so it was really amazing. So we were fangirls there, and it was a good party. So definitely we would be happy to get the invite some other year too.
I want to ask, when was the last time you have asked a fan picture? It's usually the other way around, so how did it?
I think it was last summer we were watching the Finnish women's football national team play against Netherlands. So there was a couple of players who I'm a fangirl too, so I wanted to take pictures. So I can see myself like when I was little and doing those things, and I'm still doing it. I'm 27 years old and still doing the same thing. So it's really amazing.
Thank you. It's well, in Eerikkilä there might be some kind of mental game exercise too, right? We are planning various things. But anyway, I think we are just about to close this interview part. Again, a great pleasure to have this chat with you, and anyway, a privilege to work with you as a mental coach. I think I'll just hand over the microphone now to you, and it's time for commercial break, right? And after the world famous commercial break, then it's your time to pose questions to the superstars from Finland, Oona and Veera Kauppi. Thank you.
That's right, Ilkka was straight on point. And next up we will have a short commercial break. But first up I have to say that considering the fact that last night you were talking to the President of Finland and today you are talking to us, a huge respect to you guys. Thank you for attending. But as promised, next up we will have our short commercial break. Like Veera told us a few minutes ago, or tipped us, in collaboration with the Kauppi twins, Ilkka is launching a new pro camp for floorball juniors in July next year. Join the camp to learn from the best to improve your skills as a floorball player. Further information about the camp will be published on Ilkka's home site. But then to the question part. So, Oona and Veera, please join us again. All right, let's stand. As all we know, you are huge role models for so many floorball juniors, and heck, as us adults as well. I'm totally one of your fangirls. I think you guys get asked this a lot, but I find this really important. What would be your golden advice for those who would like to become as good as you are? And during your conversation, you gave us some tips to pick up on, but in simple words, simply put, what would be the golden advice?
The boring answer is train, train and train, and try to do that as much as possible in the free time. And I think that one thing that I want to say is try to have fun. It should be fun, like 99% of the time, so have fun.
Yeah, that's definitely maybe the most important thing. And the thing we want to stress is that do it in your own way. Like, we're all different. So trust your journey, and you don't need to become the best player or the national team player when you are 17 years old. So trust the process.
That's a good answer. And as training was mentioned, as you said earlier, it's a continuous learning journey for you guys as well, even though you are one of the best floorball players in the world. Can you share us what kind of things are you specifically working on your personal game at the moment?
At the moment, I'm at the moment focusing on, because I'm a sniper, but I want to be a little bit better in other things, and I'm focusing on creating a little bit more goal chances by myself, because in the both national team and the club team I have really good players who are playing with me, but I want to be a little bit more threat to the opponent, so that's something that I'm focusing on right now.
And I'm focusing on like finding the spaces, and when I find those good spaces for myself, how can I be a threat from there? Or if I have an opponent close to me, what can I do to make more time and space for myself? And like the tools for ourselves, how we try to develop, and what we're working a lot with statistics with our dad and my coach, the program Hannes has been talking about. And I love to see numbers from games. So one thing we're always watching at the moment is also how fast we're playing, like ball play speed, because there has been quite big differences in our performance. And when we're playing well, we're playing fast floorball. We play with one touch, don't run with the ball. So we like to look at the stats also after our games. So fast floorball is also something I try to focus on at the moment.
Thank you for your answers, and this is only underlining that even the best have to practice, and the grind doesn't really stop as long as the career continues. Last but not least, let's have a few words about the camp next July. Has to be a great honor, but how do you feel about the new camp, and have you planned already the schedule, or what will be happening on the camp? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, one thing that I can promise is that we are going to compete. We love to compete, and we try to always have this kind of, what is it? Kilpailu. Competitions. Thank you. But then we we try to share our story and what we have done, and we hope that every player gets some kind of inspiration. They don't have to copy that we're doing, but some inspiration, but also having fun, because it's a little bit that extra motivation to the everyday life.
Yeah, we're gonna have really fun, do some floorball practice, maybe some mind skills, mental skills practice, and we often have a bit like other kind of activities. So it's gonna be 3 days, really good time, and getting better at floorball.
Sounds fun and something that I would definitely recommend to every floorball junior out there. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a huge round of applause to thank the Kauppi twins, Oona and Veera Kauppi. All right, folks, before we are ending the third period and this year's World Floorball Summit, we will have a short overtime because Ilkka Halava next will be summarizing the whole event in some key points to take home with. Ilkka, please join the stage.
Thank you. It has been a really long and fruitful day for all of us who love the game and want to understand more deeply about what the game understanding is, where's the soul of the game. And we have seen some very inspiring games there in the arena too. But I would like to kind of point out that we have seen ways of understanding game that were not possible 10 years ago. We have seen not only statistics, but we have seen, say, ways of understanding why things are happening. That's a sense of logic, but that's also, like we heard from Oona and Veera, it's a sense of target. It's a sense of goal. The understanding of game means that if you understand exercises, if you understand why we are training, why we are doing what we are doing, then it makes sense because you have a goal, you have a clear goal, and you are targeting something, and you can see that, well, did I do well, or did I miss something? And if I missed something, why I missed something? I really love the idea of looking at the stats from John's presentation, and understanding that you can kind of have different perspectives, and even though you think you had the answers, you still, if you have a couple of more why questions, you can dig deeper and understand more things. Then you can understand the dynamics that were always there, but nobody just seemed to take a look at that part of the game. Then when we finally entered to see the stardust in the room and saw Oona and Veera here, I think it was quite impressive to see that it's about being a superstar means that you simply love learning. You are actually learning every single day. You are using the learning opportunities whenever you have one. When you get one, you will use it. You will gladly take it. Which means that being a superstar is maybe not what we kind of think it might be, but instead it's something more. It's something more, let's say, inspiring by nature. When you can see that when you have hard times, there are ways of seeing that it's a kind of a player's winter. So you have a bruise, you have a maybe broken leg, then you have to go to surgery. That's your winter time. Then the spring comes, and you know that there's going to be a summertime after spring, and you are heading towards that summertime, always when you are in the midst of that winter. in the dark winter. I would also like to say that I'm really happy to see that trailblazing is something that during this Floorball Summit has been recognized. We have seen that there needs to be those people that are the first timers, those that do something for the first time. They do it for us. They create the trail for us. They are going towards something where nobody has been before, and then they are the first ones. The second ones have it so much easier. And then again, finally, I have to say that I'm inspired by the fact that we saw Oona and Veera in the presidential context in the Independence Day celebration. And that's simply because we are witnessing the years when we see that we no longer are driven by male sports only. We now have two strong areas. We have national teams. We are interested in every single national team. We give the value that always been, which always has belonged to every single league, every single national team, and that's paving the way towards equality and equal possibilities. If there are young players now looking at this Floorball Summit at the moment, I would like to say that take every single tip and good hint with you from this Floorball Summit. Floorball is going to be it's going to be mainstream sports in the future. When you are having the possibility of growing with us, growing with this large family, then take the chance, take the opportunity, and dream big. Thank you.
Thank you again, Ilkka. So, my dearest friends, that's all for this year's World Floorball Summit. We thank everyone of you for attending and hope you had at least some inspiring thoughts of floorball to take home with. And I wish you guys a wonderful day or night, depending on which part of the world where you're watching from. But from my perspective, thank you, and I hope to see you again soon, and bye-bye.